Art State and special interests are lying about my husband. I'm Deb Gulick, and my husband, Kris Gulick, is running for state senate. You may have seen this letter in the mail. I want you to know, as a woman, it's not true. Art, women don't like being lied to. Stop lying. This is Iowa. We are better than this. My husband believes in putting our people first and would never get between a doctor and their patient. I humbly ask for your vote for Kris Gulick.
When our economy is uncertain and we have inflation, we need an accountant, not a career politician in office. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Senate District 40 to represent you. Small business is the lifeblood of our economy. Without them, we can't grow and be successful. I'm a small business owner. I know what it means to make payroll. I'm also an accountant. I've seen their financial statements. I know the challenges that many businesses face, and I know what it takes to get things done for them. I served on the Cedar Rapids City Council and worked on numerous economic development projects. I'm going to take the skills that I learned there, plus my skills as a CPA, to Des Moines to help us achieve the same kind of results on a statewide basis. My name's Kris Gulick, and I'd appreciate your vote on November 5th. Washington, D.C. politics won't work in Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, and Robbins. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Senate District 40 to represent you. There are real consequences when we don't have a voice in the majority in Des Moines. We need a seat at the table when decisions impacting our communities are being made. I'm not afraid to say this. I'm going to work with both sides of the aisle in order to be able to achieve the kind of things that we need as a community. We need a true independent voice representing our area, and that's who I am. Fixing our roads, improving our schools, building our economy, those are not partisan issues. Some have made it that way, and that's why we need to have an independent voice. I am an independent voice. I'm proud to have represented our community as a nonpartisan Cedar Rapids City Council member. That's how I'll lead. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running to represent you as your state senator, and I'd appreciate your vote. I'm not afraid to say it, we need to invest in our education system. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Senate District 40 to represent you. I'm proud to have the support of the Kennedy High School Parent-Teacher-Student Association's president. She's supporting me because I have a passion for education. We need to set up students for success. I know college isn't for everyone. We need to make sure that every student has the opportunity to be successful in their careers once they get out of high school. We need job training for those students that decide they want to go into a trade. We want to make sure that we're working with our community colleges so that those students can be our best employees for the workforce. And those that want to go to college, that's great as well. We want to make sure that they're successful and stay here in the state of Iowa. I am a pro-education candidate. I want to make sure that we have the best outcomes for our students because they are our future. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm humbly asking you to stand with me and our schools on November 5th. If we're going to grow, we need to make sure our schools are a model for the state. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Senate District 40 to represent you. What's missing in our education system is we need teachers spending more time with students in the classroom. There's a reason why so many parents are supporting me in my campaign. I have a good understanding of our education system and the needs and demands that the teachers have to get the best outcomes for our students. Here's what I'm going to do for Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, and Robbins schools. I'm going to make sure that they're adequately funded, teachers have time to teach, and students have time to learn. Education should not be political. It should be about students' outcomes, making sure that we're building the next workforce for Iowa. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm humbly asking you to stand with me and our schools on November 5th.
As the mayor of Hiawatha, I'm calling for a change in leadership. Kris Gulick is who we need fighting for us in Des Moines. I have seen firsthand the challenges we faced in the Cedar Rapids area. Right now, we don't have a voice in the state senate for our area. We need a voice at the table now more than ever. Kris has worked on the Cedar Rapids City Council, and he knows how to make the government work for us. Kris is an independent voice. Having known him for 10 years, I have found him to be trustworthy, honest, and true to his word. We've seen what happens when we elect extreme politicians. Nothing gets done. This isn't Washington, D.C. We need someone who loves our community and is willing to work across the aisles. Kris Gulick is that person. I am proud to give my support to Kris Gulick, and I'm asking you to help me in November get him elected.
The greater Cedar Rapids community needs a strong voice in Des Moines. We don't have that right now. My name is Marshall Peterson. I'm the owner of Hawkeye Oil Company, and I live in Cedar Rapids. If we elect Kris Gulick to the Iowa Senate, Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, and Robbins is going to have someone go to Des Moines and fight for them. And that's important right now that we have a seat at the table. Kris has been an employee, he's been a business owner, so he knows both sides of the fence. Kris is an independent thinker, and he's someone that can go to Des Moines and get things done for our community. I'm voting for Kris Gulick, and you should too. He knows how to reach across the aisle, he knows how to be an effective communicator, and we haven't had that in our community, and it's time for a change.
As a parent in this community, it can be frustrating to feel sometimes that you don't have a voice, but I trust that Kris recognizes that need and knows that he has to be our voice. My name is Shannon Ousley, and I'm the current president of the Kennedy High School PTSA. So I am not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a registered independent. I think Kris always has at the heart of his agenda and what he's trying to do is what's best for his constituents, what's best for the community. He will take the path that's correct. If he agrees with the Republican Party, he'll say so. If he disagrees, he'll also say so. Education for me is a top priority. And I haven't felt that parents have had a strong enough voice. And I really trust that Kris will be that voice for us. I'm going to vote for Kris Gulick, and I think everyone should.
So I served on the city council in 2008 when the floods hit here in Cedar Rapids. And from that experience, I learned a lot about how government works or doesn't work. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Iowa Senate District 40. I was talking to the former mayor, Corbett, and he said, you know, have you ever considered running for Iowa Senate? And it's like, maybe. I thought about it. And then decided that I would do that. You know, I worked on a lot of economic development proposals and deals that we have, which are buildings now that you see in the downtown area. You really need to think things through and look at both sides of the issue before you can make a decision, make a good decision anyway. And I think I learned that early on when we were dealing with all the things of the flood. I'd appreciate your vote for me because I know that I can do the job to represent you the best possible way in the Iowa Senate. Inflation is certainly a big challenge for everybody, with costs being so much more expensive. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Iowa Senate District 40. So I talk to a lot of people in our communities in Robbins and Hiawatha and Cedar Rapids, and I think I can bring a different perspective to the state senate by being a small business owner and a certified public accountant. There's not a lot of that in Des Moines, and I think we need that. I see that inflation affecting the businesses that I work with as well, and we know that we need to help as much as we possibly can. So I think part of the job of the state legislature is to make sure that we're keeping as much money in your pocket as possible, but I think there's certainly ability for us to be able to have an impact on that. We don't have representation in the majority in Des Moines in the legislature, and that hurts us as a community. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Iowa Senate District 40. Whether it's Robbins, Cedar Rapids, or Hiawatha, we need to make sure we've got a voice that's sitting there at the table when issues are being debated, and we need to make sure that we're getting our share of public policy that supports our communities. In our communities, a large portion of our public citizens are represented in the senior class, and we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make our communities a place that works for them as they get older. Without having that representation there, it's very difficult for us to be able to get public policy directed towards Cedar Rapids, Robbins, and Hiawatha. Public safety is a critical component of making sure people are safe and they feel safe in their community. I'm Kris Gulick, and I'm running for Iowa Senate District 40. So we need to support our police department and our public safety officers in the county and all of our communities to make sure that they're getting the resources they need in order to be able to be successful in protecting all of us. Another component to that, the mental health component. And we need to make sure that we're providing the resources in our mental health professionals to be able to help mitigate that, because the police department and public safety work closely with our mental health professionals, because I think that's our next biggest challenge. Whether you live in Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, or Robbins, I sincerely and humbly ask for your vote.